Well, good Thursday morning, Southeast Texas. The weather pretty quiet. Certainly not a lot going on in the weather these days. We will have a slight chance, though, of a shower late today toward dark at 20%. Our Roofing 911 Skycam network over in Orange, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. Clear skies. Been a nice morning so far. Humidity still very manageable. That's been nice. And otherwise, temperatures are already in the middle to upper 80s. Started out in Orange this morning in the upper 60s. And, these nighttime lows have been really pleasant. We've had a couple of mornings where it's been in the low 60s up in the lakes, mid to upper 60s here in the Triangle. Those nights will continue like that for the next few nights. And our Roofing 911 Skycam network here in Beaumont, sponsored by Packer and Apray. Lots of clear skies as well. We started off around 70 here in Beaumont this morning to the lower 70s in town. Now you get outside of the town areas, of course, it's going to be a little cooler. We had temperatures in the lower to mid 60s outside of town. So you get that dry air in place, especially at night. Temperatures will continue to be fairly cool. It's very nice. But we will see some clouds developing, by the way, throughout the day. Remember that slug of moisture we were talking about coming in from Louisiana? That'll still arrive late today, but it's not a huge mass of moisture or anything like that, but it will be enough to give us maybe a 10 to 20% coverage late today. In our Roofing 911 Skycam network outside our 12 studios, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. Beautiful morning so far. Sunny skies, temperatures warming up quickly in the mid to upper 80s. Once again, we'll top out again, probably looks like in the lower 90s, 91, maybe 92, so pretty hot. That's around 4 degrees above normal for this time of the year. But maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones that sees that 10 to 20% coverage of a shower later today. Now it's going over to southwestern Louisiana, Lake Charles, our Roofing 911 Skycam network over there. Lots of clear skies. Now, once again, clouds will start developing as we heat up and some deeper moisture works in from Louisiana. It's just east of Lake Charles. We'll show you all that coming up, though, in just a moment. Lake Charles, you started out around 70 this morning for low. So pretty comfortable, but of course, it's quite hot, that's for sure, in the afternoon. You start out in the 60s, feels so nice early in the morning, but when you have that dry air in place, it's a fairly dry atmosphere overall, it warms up pretty quick. Now let's go up to the lakes area. One little small cumulus clouds developed up there around Jasper, very small. It's our Roofing 911 Skycam network up in Jasper, sponsored by Provalis. You as well will have a slight chance of a shower or thunder shower late this afternoon. Most areas will stay dry, though. We're talking coverage in the lakes and the Triangle and inland Southeast Texas of 10 to 20%. That's about it. So it looks pretty dry most areas, but there'll be a couple of showers popping up later today. Now up in the lakes area, you were very comfortable this morning. Started out in the lower to mid 60s, and that'll be the case coming up again tonight. Very, very nice in our Roofing 911 Skycam network. Over in Orange, you also have sunny skies. You started out, as we said earlier, around 70 degrees in Southeast Texas in Orange. This morning, you'll have a slight chance of a shower coming in from the east later today. Your allergy report, well, the tree and the grass, pretty good shape. It's the ragweed and the mold. It's very, very high, so not a good allergy report for today, that's for sure. Of course, Thursday, October 2nd, new report, still very, very high in that ragweed and mold. And hopefully we'll see a little bit of improvement in that coming up over the next couple of days. I think that will improve just a little bit as we head into the weekend on into early next week. Not counting on it, but it should be a little bit better. But as of right now, as you can see, it is still fairly high. All right, the drought monitor, it updated today as well every Thursday, and not much has changed. We know we're very dry. We need the rain. We're just not in that moderate drought yet. If we don't get much in the next week, probably will be next week. Still abnormally dry across all of Southeast Texas, western, southwestern, south central Louisiana. And as we talked about earlier, we'll have a slight chance later today. Looks fairly dry tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday at 20% coverage. Maybe Monday of next week we'll give it a 30% coverage, maybe. Way it's looking right now to help us a little bit. But as far as any heavy rains, anything widespread that we need to get us caught back up, I just don't see that anytime soon at all. Although some scattered showers are possible coming up on Monday of next week. So very dry across east and southeast Texas. All right, let's take a look at satellite radar across the region. Mostly clear skies across southeast Texas. A few high clouds there in portions of Oklahoma. There's that little pocket of moisture there across portions of eastern Louisiana. That little pocket of moisture is working to the southwest, and that'll give us that slight chance coming up at 10 to 20% this afternoon. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s, 84 Lake Charles and Alexandria, 88 Houston, 87 Lufkin, Amarillo coming in at 78, 82 in Midland. So, of course, doesn't take warm. It's going to be pretty hot later today, especially across south central, southwest, South Texas. You'll see some temperatures well into the 90s there, 85 in New Orleans. And here locally, we'll be in the lower 90s as well for highs coming up later today. A hot forecast, that's for sure. You know, the normal highs we said is around 87, so we're running about 4 or 5 degrees above normal for this time of the year for afternoon highs. Across the rest of the nation, kind of a bad satellite frame that just popped in there. Notice we have high pressure in control across much of the Four Corners and Intermountain West, so the pretty quiet weather conditions there. Now let's take a look at Futurecast, because it's going to be quiet. Certainly not much going on in the weather, that's for sure. But it does indicate, and we've talked about this the last day or so, a little bit of moisture coming in from Louisiana late this afternoon. Notice Futurecast popping up a few little showers here and there. Not a big deal. The coverage, as we said earlier, only around 10 to 20%, but there'll be a few popping up late today. And if you're very lucky enough to get under one, you could see 0.15 of an inch, maybe 0.2. I know better than nothing. Maybe a little bit better coverage off to our east, but still not much really over there either. And overnight, we'll have some clouds early. That slight chance of showers is mainly for early this evening. But overnight, not really expecting any rain. We'll have low temperatures. Well, we'll be in the 70s still at 10 p.m., so still kind of warm then. But just like the last few nights, we'll cool down pretty nice. Maybe not quite as cool as this morning, but still some mid to upper 60s in the lakes and upper 60s close to 70 or so along Interstate 10. Still not too bad. And then as we head throughout the day tomorrow, of course, we warm up quickly with some sun in the morning, already in the mid 80s by noon tomorrow, but no rain. I think we'll keep rain out. There could be a very isolated shower tomorrow, but the coverage would be less than 10% for Friday, and not expecting any rain at all for Saturday. Notice mid to upper 80s by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So once again, be pushing that 90-degree mark in a few areas across southeast Texas and southwestern Louisiana. All right, let's take a look at atmospheric moisture across the region. Notice the brown colors across there. That's very dry air. You can forget about any rain across west, central, Texas there. The first little shade of green here, a little bit of moisture, not very much. We're in that, but notice over around Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, anything over about 1.4, 1.5, that's decent moisture. And you see Lafayette, pretty good moisture there. That's what will be coming through our area this evening, late today and this evening. So that's the reason for that 20% coverage. Showers in the forecast later today. Shows up nicely, their little plume of moisture. We'll put it into motion here in just a moment, show you how it'll be advancing from northeast to southwest across the area. Notice the browns back over Mississippi, Alabama. That'll be moving in behind that. So we'll dry out again coming up for tomorrow afternoon into Saturday. We'll go to the motion map here, which is very little, if any, moisture right now across southeast Texas. There's that deeper moisture coming in late today into this evening. This is at 3:30 in the morning. And watch as we head throughout the day tomorrow. Starts drying from the northeast. So less than a 10% coverage tomorrow. No rain expected on Saturday, and just a 20% on Sunday. But notice the dry air coming back in to southeast Texas behind that little bit of moisture coming up for late today into this evening. So we'll take what we can get. I mean, we need the rain. It's pretty dry, and we're just gonna have to be patient before we see the rain. Out in the tropics, nothing to worry about there. I think our season here, as I said the other day, Southeast Texas tropical season's over, so that's great news for us, and probably for much of the western Gulf it's over too. And out in the Atlantic, of course, Imelda, Humberto, long gone. So certainly great news there. Get that thing out of here. All right, let's take a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere now. The area in orange here out in western Texas, that's high pressure in the upper atmosphere. We're east of that. We just don't have much moisture. It's the reason we just can't get any rain. That's that weakness there. That's what's going to come in on Monday. We'll get to that in just a moment. A little weak counterclockwise circulation around Mobile, Alabama. This is in the upper atmosphere. All right, we'll put this into motion. Notice as we head, not much through the weekend, but as we head into Monday, weak upper level low. Nothing tropical here. It's an upper low. Very, very weak too, by the way. But notice as we head into Sunday night, late into Monday, what's left of it, a little bit of moisture here locally. That's it. We got a 30% coverage right now for Monday. Hope we don't have to lower that this afternoon, but that is possible. Yesterday, models were showing a little more moisture associated with that, but not too excited about it right now, especially on Sunday night and Monday. And that'll weaken and move on out. Then high pressure rebuilds again with most of the deep moisture well to our south in the Gulf after Monday of next week. Starting next Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have very little, if any, chance of rain there. Notice just weak, broad, high pressure. And this pattern's not going to change too much over the next week and a half. So if you're wanting that fall cold front that's really noticeable, I just don't see it. Don't see it at least for the next week, week and a half for sure. We'd have to have a big change in the upper air pattern for that to happen, that's for sure. All right, rainfall totals from any showers that come in from Louisiana late today and early this evening, that's not very good. That's barely measurable, that's for sure. A little bit better chance over off in Louisiana, but even there, not much. And then we'll have our scattered showers possible on Monday. Models give us a little bit better accumulation there, maybe as much as 1/10 to 1/4 inch, maybe a few ice spots more than that. But of course, we'll have updated data on this coming up later on this afternoon. So certainly not getting too excited about that, even on Monday's rainfall chances, but at least it's a little bit of a chance coming up early next week. All right, marine forecast, northeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Certainly if you have any outdoor plans on the beach, not much wind in the forecast. Water temperature 86. Next high tide will be at 2:16 coming up for tomorrow morning. All right, rest of the day, partly cloudy, 20% coverage of a shower late today into early this evening. Otherwise hot, low 90s. That's about 4 or 5 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Notice just not much wind here at all, very, very light out of the northeast. And as we head into tonight, slight chance early, otherwise mostly clear, no rain expected. Lows mid to upper 60s, so still pretty comfortable again overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Now farther south, mid-county down to the coast, little more humidity there. 7-day forecast, 20% coverage coming up for late today. We'll keep rain out tomorrow and Saturday. It's back to 20% Sunday. Remember that weak upper low gets a little bit closer to us over Louisiana. 30% right now for Monday. Of course, we'll have new data to look at a little bit later this afternoon. That low weakens. We drop it to 20% Tuesday, and no rain right now for Wednesday of next week. Notice these temperatures too. Just not going much, above normal for highs. 90, 92 through Saturday, 90, 91 Sunday, 88 maybe on Monday. If we can get a few showers in here, we might stay the upper 80s. And actually that would be